And September is a peak month. If you've been, if you've been engaging with your forecast, you will know that I've been beating the drum for this, right? And all of you probably know I'm a drummer, so beating the drum is really my thing. So September, peak month, and we're going to talk about why it is a peak month and how for you to make the best of this peak energy, the intensity of this energy. So what we're going to do first, though, is make sure that you do know what your personal year is. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. If you are unsure, while you're watching this, you could go to FeliciaBender.com. There is a calculator there, an actual calculator, just to, to see if you are doing the math right. And yet, very simple math here. You would add the month of your date of birth and the day of your date of birth. You will cast aside your year for this calculation of birth and instead calculate the current year, which is a number 7. It's a 7 universal year. So just to make sure that you're doing that correctly. Also, I want to do a reminder / disclaimer, and that is this. I'm the practical numerologist, and the way that I envision that for myself and why I call myself that is because I like to present you with the information and the material, and then really it is up to all of us to see what resonates with us. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because there are 2 different schools of thought about the personal year. So the personal year either can be seen as being calculated or seen. Well, what am I trying to say? Let me back up. It runs from January 1st through December 31st of any given year. I would say also that the energy surrounding it peaks or intensifies around your birthday time. And then also, again, peaks and crescendos in September, which is why we're meeting right now. So what I want to say, though, is that there is another school of thought that relegates the personal year to be from birthday to birthday, kind of like a solar return in astrology. Either way, you can work with this material, and yet I wanted to be clear that it really depends on how it resonates with you. I've tried it both ways in my own personal life, and the way that I've learned to do it and that feels correct for me personally is from January 1st through December 31st. If you are not of that mind, no harm, no foul. Whatever works for you, you can still apply this information. It just will be applied a little bit differently for you and with you in your mind. All right. So with that said, let's get rocking and rolling here, because September doubles the energy of your personal year and your personal month. So why is that? Mathematically, September is a number 9. Whenever you add something to a number 9, you get what you started with. And this is infinity and beyond, right? It's a very interesting thing with math. So it ends up each of us with our personal year has this doubling down, this double intensity of the energy of our personal year that happens in September. So for instance, it's your one personal year, and September is a number 9. We add those 2 together to get your personal month. So 1 + 9 = 10, 1 + 0 = 1. And down the line, you can do that, 1 through 9. So you can see how this rolls out this way. So you're getting double the opportunities and double the challenges. Plus, what I'm going to be saying is that you've been working on this all year long, right? You've been engaging these energies, and let's see where you are and how you're feeling. All right. So the reason that I'm doing this get together with us is I figure you want to go a little deeper, if possible, right? So digging a little deeper, getting a little more nuanced, and getting more able to apply this information to your specific situation, right? And the experiences that you are going through. How do I make sense out of this, right? How do I make some meaning out of it, so that it really is a part of my spiritual personal growth in life? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use an example, okay, to just start out, to ramp up, of how we might make sense out of, I don't know, a random happening. And I'm just choosing this one out of the air, right? So let's see how we might look at the particular lesson or the core that we can extract if you are in the process of a divorce. Okay, it could be a job change, it could be a health issue, it could be anything. I'm just choosing divorce as our example here. All right. So if we were to look at the one personal year, let's say you're in a one personal year and you're getting a divorce. How can you see what this core message, core issue is that's coming into play? Well, I would just say, frankly, that you probably wanted and needed to get that divorce last year. Right? In your 9 personal year. Didn't happen for whatever reason. And so right now, the real core issue, not issue, well, maybe issue, but the message for you and what you're really learning and growing with and on and into is your independence. If you are getting a divorce, it's gonna kick you up the ladder into your independence. It's gonna ask you to extract from these codependencies and dependencies, all of those things. That would be the center theme. I would say overall, okay, these can mix and match, and there's no hard yes or hard no, but I think it's interesting to look to see how these things can show up and what the ultimate growth opportunity is for us during that time. So if you are in a 2 personal year getting a divorce, you're really learning who you are. This is most likely a time when you haven't been true to yourself, and that has caused an unraveling of your relationship, that sort of thing. So it's about learning who you are. If you're getting a divorce in a number 3 personal year, it's more about your authenticity, more about expression, more about you truly expressing yourself and making yourself heard. And it's often when you do get a divorce and you feel this sense of freedom and you feel a sense of, wow, I've got to learn who I am again, right? And it's your year to do that, to learn who you are once again. So the 4 personal year and divorce, back to foundations, baby, right? It's usually a pretty grueling one. Sometimes a divorce in a 4 year, there are just issues that more ensconced in legal stuff, home stuff, old family stuff that comes up about you really reviewing, why was I in this relationship in this way, and kind of reviewing those old family dynamics that may have placed you there one way or the other to begin with. A divorce in a 5 year. Oh my gosh, that's when freedom rings. So it can be a time where freedom rings and where you really are expressing your sensuality, your sexuality, exploring things that you feel like you haven't been able to for that amount of time until you've been free of the relationship. In a 6 personal year, a 6 personal year is marriage and divorce anyway, right? If you're in a 6 personal year, this is a key time to be experiencing a divorce, because it is usually where you just have tried everything under the sun, and it's either you up level or you leave it. And that is how divorce can unfold in a 6 personal year. So a 7 personal year, this usually is a deep dive into the self. And this is not, again, a hard and fast rule. And yet what I find oftentimes, very often, is when I have clients who are experiencing a divorce in a 7 personal year, they are the one who is left. They're not the one who is leaving. They're the one who is somewhat surprised that they're being left. And so they get to do a deep dive, like, what just happened here? How did I miss that? how am I going to rebuild myself here? And it really is a deep dive into self. The 8, a divorce and an 8, boy, that's about power and empowerment. And there's going to be a focus on splitting of assets. There's going to be a focus on the money part, right? Maybe even more than usual. And yet it is really a step in your empowerment, and it's demanding that you get serious about yourself and ask for your worth during that divorce proceeding. So the 9, a divorce and a 9, it's simply a significant transition for you in your life. Often you are a relationship driven person. You are someone who this is a very vital part of the fabric of your being and of your life. And when you experience a divorce during that 9 personal year, it really is a significant closure and then opening to this next phase and stage in your life. 6 personal year. It's about evaluating the relationships across the board, right? Evaluating relationships, taking responsibility, but modulating that responsibility. Not too responsible, not irresponsible, just right, like the 3 bears, right? With the with the porridge. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. So it's about feeling at home. It's about nurturing and nourishment. Again, on a very literal level, and then also on a metaphoric level. So I always will say that the mantra for the 6th personal year is, should I stay or should I go? Or should it stay or should it go? So this is a hashing out of relationships in terms of how you feel about each and every one of them. And it's asking you to get serious about how you love, how you want to be loved in return, how you feel at home. And this starts with you. It's really a you evaluation year, and then it extends out into all of your other relationships. So right about now, the optimal here, you're feeling really warm and fuzzy. You're feeling really loved and lovable. You're feeling more boundaried, right? Like you've put into place some really good, healthy boundaries that you're happy with right now. You're feeling more you, right? Empowered in that way. And you're feeling supportive and supported, right? It goes both ways. Are you feeling supported by others as you extend higher levels of support to others? So where this kid wind up in September and bringing it up really with intensity could be very stuck in an expired relationship or expired relationships. Again, job, family, intimate partnership, all of those things. So this could be a time where the rubber meets the road for that. And it's asking you to get off the fence, okay? It's also asking you not to be too responsible for everybody else, to take the responsibility and give yourself as much of that as you give others. It may sound corny, but it's not easy. And we all know that that's always an interesting place on the balance beam to try to balance all of that. And you could not be open to self-inquiry right now. You could be right, doing the same old things. It's the same old rut in the road. You're like, I always do this. This is how I always deal with an argument with my spouse. This is always how I deal with, burying my head in the sand when this happens with my family dynamics, whatever. You could just be doing the same thing. And yet it feels more wrong right now, maybe than it ever has. Hey everyone, as you have noticed, this forecast is set up a little bit differently this time. I decided to make it a little bit different and give you a little piece of a webinar that I just presented on the energies of September. I thought that would be a nice way to shake things up and give you a little bit of a different approach. If you would like to review what your forecast is for the month of September in written form, very much like would usually be as part of your forecast, please go and take a look at it. You can read that rather than watch it. And I know I'm asking a lot of you, but if you are interested in that forecast, go read it at FeliciaBender.com. So it's FeliciaBender.com. and go under monthly forecast. Click on your personal year, and you will get the full written forecast for this month. I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you soon.